Hey, shalom, Malcolm, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and that's still teaching this truth. Much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back today with another lesson, and Lord willing, today this lesson will be edifying and to the point. And I want to do a lesson going in on this article that you see here on the screen, which this is recent news on how, as you see, this is from zerohedge.com, and it's also on other news outlets as well. But the title reads, it says, military draft coming. House passes measure to automatically register men for selective service. All right, and beginning with the apostles and elders on down, we've been saying that there's going to be another military draft. And you have other countries like the UK and Ukraine, and other Australia. I want to say is another one if I'm not mistaken. But you have a lot of different countries who are instituting a military draft because first and foremost you have a lot of these younger generation kids, if you will, these Generation Z babies, that are out here wild and out, which realistically is going to be a judgment from Yahweh Bashim Shai, all right, to have these people go over there to the Middle East, because if you get shipped out over there to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, you ain't coming back. All right. But secondly, too, you have a lot of people that's not, registering for the military. Ultimately because, people are finding out that it's a bunch of bullshit, and they're fighting a war that's really not really for them. But before I actually read this, I want to get a quick precept in Second Esdras. I want to say it's the 16th chapter, but I just want to verify real quick. Right, because this whole chapter is real good. The point is in verse 34. Let's take a look at verse 18, and I'm gonna jump down. All right, this is Second Esdras chapter 16, and I'm gonna start at verse 14. All right, it says, "Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth." And one of the plagues that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to bring as a major plague are going to be the missiles. All right, because in the midst of World War III, okay, when Babylon the Great, all right, is going to be completely destroyed. Which Babylon the Great is America. All right, you're going to have all these various different nations gathered together in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, or the valley of Jehoshaphat, as it's written in Joel the 2nd chapter. I'm sorry, Joel the 3rd chapter. Okay, and you're gonna have NATO and the EU and Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan, Turkey. You're gonna have a lot of these different nations that are gonna shoot their missiles at America as well as at Israel too, because the land of Israel is gonna be hit by missiles as well and be completely burned up. But that our land's gonna be rebuilt because that's our land. But America is not gonna be rebuilt. Okay. But in the midst of World War III, okay, Yahweh Shah is going to return with the holy angels, okay, and the chariots, and then they're going to add more fuel to the fire. That's why the scripture says, "Behold, I come to send fire upon the earth, and what will I if it already be kindled?" Okay. Verse 15, it says, "The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth," and that doesn't mean that the whole earth is going to be destroyed. By the way, okay. It says, "Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again." And like I said, one of those plagues are going to be the missiles. And once those missiles are shot, okay, they're not going to return back. It's not going to be anything that's going to stop the trajectory, if I'm saying that word correctly, of these missiles when they're shot from Russia, Iran, Pakistan, Ethiopia, Turkey, these different NATO and EU nations as well too. Verse 17, it says, "Woe is me," and that word woe is destruction. "Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?" Verse 18, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. You see, great death, because it's already going to be death upon the planet Earth, you know, particularly here in Babylon the Great, you know, by way of famines and race wars, pestilences, and different diseases, you know, and then, of course, the sword that the Lord, you know, ultimately all that is the sword at the end of the day, you know. So it says the beginning of sorrows, and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars. You see that? The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. You see, and Yahweh Shah mentioned these wars. He says, it says that there will be wars and rumors of wars. It says the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Because it's going to get so bad. It's going to get so bad out here. Whereas they're going to have to draft. They're going to have a selective service, a military draft to get these people. You know what I'm saying? To get these people shipped out over there to the Middle East, which is really, like I said, is really going to be the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, so going to the article, it says the House of Representatives on Friday approved its version of the annual defense policy bill, effectively clearing the $883.7 billion National Defense Authorization Act to move forward in a 217-119 vote, which largely fell along party lines. Only the Republicans opposed it. Let's just get straight to the point. It says, but among the most interesting aspects to the bill for fiscal year 2025 is an amendment to the NDAA, which automatically registers all draft age male U.S. residents with the Selective Service System. Let's read that again. It says, which automatically registers all draft age male U.S. residents with the Selective Service System. And that's all males between the ages of 18 and 26. Okay? Now, you've had a lot of laws that were passed for, you know, the TRA, all the transmission people to be in the military. You know, the whole, you know, how the U.S. military is alphabet community friendly. So a lot of these people who, you know, have changed their kind and things of that nature, and their biological males, they're going to get shipped over there too. You see, and like I said, this is really realistically going to be the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? It says this means that all able-bodied males in the country, ages 18 to 26, could potentially be drafted in the scenario of a future war declaration by Congress. The selection would be based on information from federal databases. You see that? So when you get that letter in the mail, you know, like they did back in World War II, you know, we want you, or, you know, Uncle saying we want you, you know, and there ain't gonna be no, you know, you're gonna have a lot of people who's gonna be trying to escape the draft or whatever the case may be, and people are gonna be getting locked up, you know. But a lot of these, you know, GMO baby, Generation Z, you know, purple dreadhead niggas, and these lunatics that are out here roaming these streets, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to cause them to go over there to the valley of Jehoshaphat and get their ass blown up. And like I said, that's really the judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to read actually this in the GNT, 2nd Ezra 16, and I want to read the couple verses in the GNT. Just give me 1 second. This is 2nd Ezra 16, and let's start at verse 31. It says, this is how it will be in those days. 3 or 4 will be missed by the soldiers who search through the houses to kill everyone. Let's read that again. It says 3 or 4 will be missed by the soldiers who search through the houses to kill everyone, because you're going to have door-to-door searches. It's going to be complete and all-out hell breaking loose here in these streets, particularly here in America. You see, Isaiah the 13th chapter goes into that. It says that their houses shall be rifled, and the woman ravished, you know. So you're going to have a lot of these men that are going to be shipped out, and a lot of these women who are going to need the protection of a man, you know, specifically if a woman doesn't have a man of the Lord on their side, they're going to be out, you know, they're pretty much going to be out of there. Now granted, you have women who believe and, you know, who could be single at this point, and they're going to be good. You know, they you know, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai could bring a man of the Lord, you know, to them at that time. But a lot of these women out here who, you know, in that whole I'm single spirit, and, you know, I can do bad all by myself, I don't need no man, yada yada yada. You know, in that day they're gonna be looking for a man to protect them and save them in that time. You see? Verse 32. It says the land will be left empty. The fields will be overgrown with briars. And you can also read this in Isaiah the 33rd chapter. It says that the wayfaring man is going to be ceasing in that day. It says the fields will be overgrown with briars. It says the roads and paths will be covered with weeds and thorns because there will be no sheep to graze along them. Young women will be in mourning because there is no one to marry them. Why is there not going to be no one to marry them? Because a lot of these men are going to be shipped out. You see, they're going to be mourning because they're not going to have no man to protect them in that day. It says young women will be mourning because there will be no one to marry them. Wives, those that were married, will be in mourning because they have lost their husbands. See that? Because they have lost their husbands. How are they going to lose their husbands? They're going to lose their husbands in the war. Daughters will be in mourning because there is no one to help them. See how specifically honing in on the women here? Because when shit hits the fan and all hell breaks loose, where you got all anarchy in these streets where ain't no food, you know, 911 ain't gonna be the magic number that you can call for protection. When all these things happen, women are gonna go back to their natural order. You see, they're gonna go back to their natural order of looking for a protector in that day. But they ain't gonna have no one to protect them. You see? Verse 34. All the young men, specifically young men, all the young men will be killed in the war. You see that? And what war is this talking about? This is gonna be World War III. All the young men will be killed in the war, and all the married men will die in the famine. You see that? Will die in the famine. You see? Because there will be a famine too. Whether it be a geo-engineered famine, where Esau stops the trucks from moving, or whether it doesn't rain and there's not any crops, so the crops just get destroyed by way of particular pestilences. Ultimately, it's from Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, and it's crazy because I'm looking at the moon right now, and the moon is slightly red, man. Hey, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai is getting ready to do some damage, man. That's crazy. I'm over here looking at the moon. It's a half moon, and it's like a orangish red color right now. Man, it says, while there has been a selective service program in effect for decades, it has long previously only been voluntary. But this new amendment will make registration automatic. You see, now you're going to automatically be registered for the military. You're going to automatically be registered to be shipped out. You see, if the duty calls, it ain't gonna be no question of, there ain't gonna be no question of asking. It ain't gonna be no question of asking. No, it's gonna be it is what it is. The merely quote-unquote voluntary system have been in effect since 1980, but critics have said that leaving it up to young men to decide for themselves whether to register has resulted in a weak and ineffective system with not enough numbers. Because you got a lot of these men who are in the military now, but what am I trying to say? Pretty much, you got a lot of these men who are in the military, but they're not really war ready. You see, it was a lot different back then in World War I, World War II, even going before that. In the ancient world, man, you actually had real men that would go out there and fight. But now you got these men who are mowed out. You know what I'm saying? You got like I said, you got transmission people in the military. The whole alphabet community. You got those people in the military. And it's like, and you got these people who are just playing video games all day, playing Call of Duty, thinking that they can go over there into the Middle East and get a, you know, a 50-0 kill streak. Nah, man. You know, we in a time right now where weak men make hard times, as the saying goes. Weak men make hard times. How's it? Hard times make strong men. Strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Because everybody's indulged in their own lust. You know? And like I said, you know, this is really going to be a judgment from Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai. You know, if you get shipped over there because you ain't making it back. Okay? It says there has been a rising number of military papers and reports calling for the reinstatement of a more robust draft system of late, especially in relation to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. You know, because all these wars and rumors of wars, all these things are going to continue just to escalate. Russia and Ukraine is going to continue to escalate. It's not going to be, you know, you may have a few little peace talks here and there, and and then a few peace talks here and there, and you're gonna have particular wording going out saying that, oh yeah, the war is going to be complete and this, that, and the third. But these things are just going to continue to escalate and get worse and worse and worse, and to the point whereas it's going to be a powder keg, man. You see, and it's going to be necessary for a draft, and they're going to sign the bill. They're going to sign off on it. They're going to sign off on the legislation for it. You see, especially with all the events going on right now, even in-house in America. You know, it says for example, last year, the U.S. Army War College's academic journal included a highly disturbing essay on what lessons the U.S. military should take away from the continuing war in Ukraine. Okay, and you had members and individuals who was actually, breaking their legs just to not even go to war in Ukraine, man, because it's a whole different lifestyle out there in Europe, or going out there in Ukraine and in the Middle East where actual bombs is going off and missiles is being shot. It's a whole different lifestyle, man. See, people really still got it good here in America. That's why they call America this the land of unwalled villages. It's a place where where people can quote unquote dwell safely, and they think that they dwell safely. Because nothing really ain't happening yet over here. You see, but over there in these different countries, man, Ukraine, Syria, Palestine, Gaza, Iraq, all these different places, man. It's shit ain't sweet out there, man. It should be going down out there, and that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen over here on a whole nother scale. And as we read in the precept in Second Ezra's, you're gonna have a lot of the young men who are gonna die in these wars, man. Let's let me see. I'm trying to see here if there's anything left in this article. I'm just kind of scanning a little bit here. That's mainly it. Let's go to Joel real quick here, because it says that the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Let's get that one. I think that's Joel, the 2nd chapter. Mountains melted blood. This is actually a good one. This is Isaiah 34 verse 2. It says, "For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations." And you can read about that indignation in Joel, the 3rd chapter. How the Lord is going to gather all nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, as I've been saying. It says, "And his fury upon their armies." You see, their armies. "He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." And the ultimate slaughter is going to be when the missiles come. You see, now are all these nations going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles? No. you're gonna have other parts in the world that are gonna be getting hit. You see, but primarily here in America, this is the place where the Lord is gonna completely annihilate it with fire. It says their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink, all right, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood. Now, does that mean it's just gonna be blood splattering on these major mountains in the Middle East? No, it just means that it's gonna be a lot of bloodshed, man. You know, it's gonna be a whole lot of bloodshed. It's gonna be a lot of death. Okay. Verse 4 says, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll." And that scroll, the heavens being rolled together as a scroll, is talking about the mushroom cloud. Okay, because when these missiles go off, man, the whole heavens is going to be completely darkened, man. It says, "And all their host shall fall down as a leaf, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling from the fig tree. My sword shall be bathed in heaven," and that sword is talking about the missiles. Okay, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." Okay, and Idumea is a Greek way of saying Edom, because in the midst of World War III, all right, and the whole reason as to why Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai is bringing World War III is to cast down Esau's world, this system that's being set up. You see, that's why it says that it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. You see, and the Edomites are the people, of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai's curse, and it really goes back to the curse of Cain. Okay, let's get Isaiah the 3rd chapter real quick. The last few verses there, and this is pretty much gonna wrap it up. Isaiah 3, and because when you read Isaiah the 3rd chapter, it goes into pretty much the women of our nation, how they're proud, but they're going to be humbled. Okay, let's just read verse 24 on down. It says, Isaiah 3 and 24. It says, "And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be a stink." See that? And that's really going to be manifested in that day, whenever all hell breaking loose, man. You know, you ain't gonna be able to go out there and get all prettied up and dolled up. You ain't finna be able to go out to the club and have a hot girl summer and all that madness, man. You see? It says, "And instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness." And baldness also represents, mourning. You know? But even our women of our nation are really bald-headed, man. You know, I gotta get all these weaves and things of that nature. You know, they ain't gonna be no getting your hair done in that day. Okay? It says, "And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth," which represents mourning, and burning instead of beauty. Okay? It says, "Thy men shall fall by the sword." You see that? And thy mighty in the war. You see that? In the war. And we just read a precept correlating that in 2 Ezra the 16th chapter. See? "And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground." You're going to sit in confusion in that day. You see? And these prophecies is coming to pass, man. Like I said, beginning with the elder apostles and bishops and on down. Okay? We've been saying time and time again, there's going to be a military draft. And they already got the laws in the works for it, man. Okay? So I just want to do a quick lesson on this. You know, Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson to the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Hakudash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that's still teaching this truth. And much peace, love, and salutations to the elect. Until next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.